center of balance is the middle of your foot. Can you see this in the diagram? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is what's intuitive. This model here, this is a high bar squat. If this is the same person, the only variable you've modified is you've brought the bar up higher, which changes one of the segment lengths. Because everything above it isn't really operating. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, everything beneath it is operating. So in order to move through this floor into motion, all these angles have to change in order to keep it vertical to the center of balance. Does that make sense? You haven't changed anything. Because a moment arm is measured at 90 degrees from the point of application force to the moment of rotation. Does that make sense? So if this is the direction I'm pulling, then the moment arm is measured from here to here, 90 degrees, from the point of application force to the moment of rotation. Right? So the moment arm is a mathematical value, which is multiplying the amount of force I am applying to the lever. Does that make sense? So if I have, whatever, let's say 10 newtons of force, this multiplies it on twice. And so it becomes 20 newtons of force. Now, if I grab it here and the vector there, then the moment measured 90 degrees is that long. But that's much longer than this. It's a greater mathematical value. So the multiplier is increased. Let's say it's now 3. So now I have 30 newtons of force instead of 20. Does that make sense? Okay, the same thing is happening here. So there's a moment arm in the high bar back squat, but there are quite a few. For our purposes, the hip to that dividing line. There's a moment arm here. There's a moment arm at the knee. Same thing here. There's a moment arm here. There's a moment arm here. Can you see the difference? There's a much greater moment arm at the knee, and a much smaller moment arm at the hip. Greater moment arm at the hip, smaller moment arm at the knee. This is what I really want you to take away from this. But there's much more muscle mass that crosses this joint than crosses this joint. But you can't change them. It's not going to change. All you can do is manipulate how you distribute force between those bodies. And because there's more muscle mass here, it can do more work. So by definition, you can do more work here than you can here. Does that make sense? That's why you can lift more weight there. Okay? It's the main reason. There are a couple of reasons. This is why we want you to squat this way and not this way. Okay? Even though it's more technical, it's harder to do. Great, so we're going to do the last little bit of this. That was the low bar back squat. I wrote down everyone's weights. We'll go up every week. Make sure you write this down. If you didn't bring some kind of log with you, get one. You can write this down on a piece of paper for now, but